Containment on the Gann Fire has jumped to 72%, but that's not the headline tonight. The confirmed number of homes and buildings destroyed just more than doubled, from 18 up to 45. Evacuation shelters have officially closed. And there's new detail emerging about the woman who died in this fire, including why she wouldn't leave. I'm going to walk you through everything that's changed, what it means if you're in Calaveras County, and one story out of this fire that's actually a genuine good news moment. Let's get into it. Let's start with the numbers, because they're moving fast. As of Sunday evening, the Gann Fire is 72% contained. That's up from 66% Sunday morning and 60% the evening before that. The fire is holding at approximately 10,339 acres, so the footprint itself has basically stopped growing. All of that containment progress is coming from crews locking down the perimeter that's already there. Cal Fire says fire activity right now is minimal. No observable fire behavior, and they're not anticipating any more perimeter growth. What crews are doing at this stage is mop-up, and they're using drone-generated hotspot maps from unmanned aircraft systems to find pockets of heat that aren't visible to the naked eye. Suppression repair and damage inspections are ongoing, and crews have started pulling excess hose and equipment off the fire line, which is usually one of the clearest signs that an incident is winding down. Conditions have still been rough. Temperatures hit around 105 degrees over the weekend, but Cal Fire is projecting a gradual shift, bringing cooler temperatures and more moisture as we move into this coming week, which, if it holds, should make the final stretch of this fight considerably easier. Now here's the practical update if you're a resident. Evacuation warnings across the entire fire area have been lifted. Evacuation orders remain, but only in the interior of the fire. That's 4 zones specifically: CCU 109C, CCU 130D, CCU 139D, and CCU 147D. Because repopulation is now well underway, the evacuation shelters that had been open at Valley Springs Veterans Memorial and Avery Middle School have officially closed. If you're checking your own status, the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office is the place to go for current information. Don't rely on anything you saw earlier in the week, because zone statuses have been changing daily. This is the update that matters most today. Cal Fire's confirmed damage assessment now shows 45 structures destroyed and 3 more damaged. That's residential, commercial, and other buildings combined. And that's a sharp jump, more than double, from the 18 destroyed structures we were reporting just a few days ago. To be clear about what's happening here, this isn't the fire getting worse. The fire's acreage hasn't grown. What's happening is that damage inspection teams have kept working through the burn scar, going property by property, and the confirmed number has been climbing as that assessment work gets finalized. It's very common for these numbers to rise well after a fire stops spreading, simply because it takes time to physically inspect every affected parcel. The confirmed casualty count, for reference, stands at 1 civilian fatality and 1 firefighter injury. Resources on scene have scaled down as the fire has moved deeper into mop-up mode. Cal Fire now has about 1,937 personnel assigned, along with 6 helicopters, 161 engines, 17 dozers, 40 water tenders, and 40 hand crews. Now, an update on the human side of this story, and I want to be precise here about what's official and what isn't. The Calaveras County Sheriff's Office has still not officially released the name of the 70-year-old woman found deceased in a burned home on the 4600 block of Jaquima Drive in Angels Camp. The Sheriff's Office says that's because of the ongoing investigation, the positive identification process, and next of kin notification, all standard reasons for withholding a name in a case like this. That said, the identification that's been circulating through friends and neighbors, Susan Solari, has now been picked up by news organizations well beyond the local area. And there's a detail here that makes this loss even harder. Friends say Solari ran Hinterland German Shepherds, a dog breeding operation she'd based on that Jaquima Drive property for decades. And they say she made the decision to stay behind rather than evacuate because she wouldn't leave her dogs. A neighbor who spoke with her shortly before the fire reached the property said she refused every attempt to convince her to leave, that she was, in her friend's words, headstrong, independent, and deeply committed to those animals until the very end. It's a genuinely painful story, and it's a reminder of why officials push so hard, every single time, for people to evacuate immediately when they're told to. I want to spend a minute on some smaller updates because they say something about where this incident is right now. Firefighting crews have been helping residents with actual cleanup tasks as people return home. Things like clearing out refrigerators, general tidying, the unglamorous work of putting a life back together. Crews have also been helping property owners sift through debris, looking for sentimental items that might have survived. And they've been helping water and care for animals as residents repopulate the area. PG&E crews have been working in the Jaquima area for the past several days restoring power, with traffic control points active along roadways there. And there's one story out of this fire that's a genuinely good one. Before the Gann Fire ever started, Cal Fire's Tuolumne Calaveras unit had partnered with the Performing Animal Welfare Society, PAWS, to reduce wildfire risk near its San Andreas sanctuary. Back in June, they completed a prescribed burn on roughly 124 acres right next to that property. When the Gann Fire later moved through the area, that previously treated land actually supported firefighting efforts near PAWS, and the sanctuary was spared. It's a direct, real-world example of prevention work paying off exactly when it needed to. Quick update on the criminal case, because there's been no major movement here. 65-year-old Herbert Wayne Smith of Valley Springs remains the man Cal Fire investigators say recklessly caused this fire, allegedly while operating spark-producing equipment in vegetation without following state fire prevention requirements. He was booked on a felony charge of unlawfully causing a fire that burned structures or forest land, along with misdemeanor charges for allowing a fire to escape or spread and operating machinery without required clearance. Smith was arrested the night the fire started and released on bond the following day. His case remains with the Calaveras County District Attorney's Office for review. As of this update, no additional formal charges have been filed, and it's worth repeating, he remains presumed innocent unless and until convicted. So here's where this leaves us. The overall trajectory keeps improving, containment nearing 3/4 of the perimeter, warnings lifted across the board, shelters closed, and recovery work now the dominant activity on the ground. That's real, tangible progress for a community that's been through a genuinely hard week and a half. But the toll has also come into sharper focus. Structure losses more than doubling to 45 destroyed, and one confirmed death that friends say came down to a woman who simply wouldn't leave her dogs behind. Damage assessment looks close to wrapping up, but crews are still finishing mop-up and suppression repair on the ground. We'll keep tracking the Gann Fire and bring you the next update as soon as the numbers move again. If you're in Calaveras County, the Sheriff's Office is your best source for real-time evacuation and damage reporting info. If this update helped, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.